Hello my friends, welcome back to Arda Recordes in Porto, Portugal. In today's session, the engineer in charge will be João Brandão. João is the founder and also the chief engineer here at Arda Recordes. He'll tell us how he's dealing with his band playing all together in the live room, except for the vocalist, which is in an isolated room. All about microphone choices, placements, compressors, EQs, routing, preamps, all those important things will be dealt with here in today's session. So welcome again, and I hope you enjoy this rather nice tour we'll have today. So hi João.
Hey.
How's everything going?
Good.
Good?
Tired, but yeah. It's good.
So yesterday was the first day.
Yeah.
You probably had a lot of work.
A lot of work yesterday, yeah. So we're doing a live session, live in the studio session. So it's actually the band Less International. They're the singer and a guitarist. They invited a French band called Chaka Punk. So they have to play with them in this session. So we have their drummer, keyboard player, and bass player. And the idea was to capture like a live performance in the studio. So what we did was to place everyone in the same room except the singer, because we needed some isolation between the drums and the vocals. But I made sure that everyone can clearly see themselves. So that's why I used this bigger booth here for the vocalists. And it's a pretty straightforward setup, although it's since we didn't really know what the aesthetic of the recording would be, I ended up using or placing more microphones than I usually would. So now I have more options depending on the songs, because we're trying to do 6 songs in 2 days. So instead of trying to having to change the microphones between songs, I decided to just spend a little bit more time on the setup and then have all the options for all the songs. So the drums are pretty simple by themselves, but it's just a small kit because we're going for a more old school sound for this recording. But yeah, I think I have way too many microphones on the drums for now. But
that's a seriously mic'd drum set,
yeah,
I can say.
But I'm not gonna use most of it. So the main sound actually comes from the room mics and from the overheads. So here I'm using the Coles 4038s as the main overhead pair, and the M49, the vintage Neumann. So this gives me because for this we wanted a more diffuse sound for the drums. So that gives me the overall picture that I needed. Then I placed microphones on the cymbals, which is something I usually never do. But since I wanted the overheads to be more diffuse, I thought it was a good idea to have the spot mics on the cymbals, just in case we change our minds later and need some more detail. So I'm using the Josephson C42s for crash cymbals, and a vintage KM84 for the ride and for the hi-hats.
Nice.
On the snare drums, we have the Josephson's E22S's, which are really good for this.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful mics, yeah. Side address.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
you're using also bottom?
Yeah, it's
it's another one.
Top and bottom of the snare.
Okay, both.
Yeah.
E22s.
And toms, I'm using the M930s from Gefell. Gefell. Usually I use condenser microphones on toms. And I've been liking those a lot.
Yeah, they're great microphones. What about this Soyuz here?
Well, actually, that's a big part of the drum sound. That gives me the overall sound of the kit. So we spent a bit of time placing this yesterday. This is a Soyuz SU-23 bomblet, and so what this does, I'm EQing it quite a bit going in. What this does is gives me an overall image of the kit, but with more emphasis on the kick drum and the snare. So I'm not compressing it yet, but I'm EQing quite a bit, so it's pretty scooped. But it gives the drums a little more depth on the recording. Kick, it's just I'm using the 47, the Neumann 47 Fat. because the kick is tuned with quite a bit of sustain, so the microphone is placed a little bit back, and then I have the regular dynamic just in case I needed some more attack on the kick. But I think I'm not using it much yet in the rough mix. But the main drum sound actually comes from this. I have two pairs of room mics. I have another pair of Coles 4038s pretty close to the drums.
And to the floor too.
Pointing to the floor, yeah. And I have a pair of AEA R84s way back. So this gives me two depths of drums, and I'm running those in parallel through compressors, and I'm recording the compressed sound, which is right now, during the tracking session, that's pretty much the sound we're hearing, so the band can play and hear that sound. So I'm running this through Overseer SVC compressor, and what else? And I'm running through a saturator as well. So I'm running it in parallel and recording the compressed sound, so I can use that to enhance those microphones. And it's important for me that the band can hear that on the headphones while playing, because they play differently. Instead of just feeding the headphones with a kick and snare mic, they will play differently. So if I feed them with the room mics, they will play to the room, and it really changes the way they play. So that's pretty much it about drums. I also have another microphone hidden here, which is Shure SM91B.
It's there. I haven't seen it.
So this is placed here, and it's a
PZM or
and it's I'm compressing this with a Spectrasonic C complementer. So this is totally crushed, and also gives us a nice explosive sound that I'm also feeding to the drummer. So when he plays, he hears like the response of the room very compressed and very distorted, which is cool because he is able to play not as hard, which it is something I really needed for this session. I wanted to play as softly as he can, so I can have more room to breathe and I can compress more the drums without sounding choked. So this is also going through the headphones mix.
Okay.
For vocals, I'm using the Josephson 715, which is a fabulous microphone. It's very clean and it really pairs well with her voice. But also I'm running this. I'm using the console preamps for this, the Neve preamps, but I'm running this in parallel through an old Ampex 351, which is very distorted, and I'm using both signals, the clean and the distorted, to feed her vocals, to feed her headphones. Again, this makes her sing in a different way, because the louder she gets, more distorted it gets, which is very cool, and it impacts the performance in a good way.
So nice. So the musicians are actually hearing all the processed sound.
Yes, yeah. So the way I usually record is I try to get all the sounds before going in. So before the mix, I try to get as close as possible to the finished sound, even before the mix. So while we're working on different songs, if I open up a new session, the sound is pretty much there without having to change much, and it really saves me some time during the mix process.
It's committing.
Yeah, I'm always committing.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll continue this session here on the next episode. Stay tuned, please subscribe and share to your friends. See you next time, bye bye.